Well, greetings. Seems we have been meeting frequently through this medium, and I'm looking forward to seeing your faces even if they are masked. In the next few minutes, I want to address you concerning the reopening of our fellowship for services. You will receive through letter much of what we cover today, so don't panic if you're taking notes. Strategy and procedures which I will describe will also be sent via church email, posted on our church app, and can be found on our website. So you should be able to gather the correct information through several different venues. If for some reason you can't attain this information, please contact the office or one of the staff. I want to begin by sharing with you our reasoning for the choice of date for reopening and our procedures. The federal government and our district church leadership has given much credence to the authoritative bodies of the state of Indiana. The governor of Indiana has put in place a 5-stage plan for reopening our state. This 5-stage plan includes the reopening of indoor church services. There is also an entire section of guidelines for religious organizations which we are following and our plan is in compliance with. The dates and process for reopening are contingent upon continual decline in numbers of infection and death due to the COVID-19 outbreak. They are also based upon county statistics and could be changed if our county or surrounding counties suffer a spike in infection and death due to the virus. The state of Indiana has declared we are in stage 2, which gives permission for in-house worship to begin effective Monday, May 4th. However, a stay-at-home order is still in place for those who are 65 years of age and older and have underlying medical conditions. After much consideration, I have decided to wait to reopen services until stage 3 of the governor's plan. Stage 3 lifts the stay-at-home order on this vulnerable group and will allow 65 years of age and older with underlying conditions to attend services. The governor's plan still encourages precautionary measures by all, but especially the most vulnerable, that group of 65 and older with underlying conditions. Stage 3 states, Hoosiers 65 and older and those with known high-risk medical conditions should limit exposure at work and in their communities. In light of the governor's 5-stage plan, we will use phase 1 of our initial plan to reopen as the only phase that we will apply. This plan allows for safe distancing protocol and separation for our most vulnerable members. It also allows all of us to begin to meet again without excluding any particular group. In the previous letter and plan you received, you will note that we had 3 phases. These 3 phases were based upon CDC federal guidelines established in the federal reopening 3-phase plan. With the timeline set by the governor, we feel it best to simplify our original plan. In our new plan, we will keep phase 1 only in place until July 4th. That's the date for stage 5 of the governor's plan, at which time all services for the church will resume as normal. Please know that we as a staff have been eager to reconvene, but we want to be together as much as we possibly can, and we want to be together safely. As Paul said, always be humble and gentle. Be patient with each other, making allowance for each other's faults because of your love. Make every effort to keep yourselves united in the Spirit, binding yourselves together with peace. For there is one body and one Spirit, just as you have been called to one glorious hope for the future. There is one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is over all, in all, and living through all. So, with the aforementioned reasoning in mind and the idea of unity at heart, we propose the following strategy for reopening. Your willingness to assist us in this reopening by following our strategy will both protect and encourage our fellowship. I want to begin by defining the vulnerable. Vulnerable individuals are defined as the elderly, 65 years of age and older, and people with underlying health conditions such as high blood pressure, chronic lung disease, diabetes, obesity, asthma, and compromised immune systems due to treatments for illnesses such as cancer. This definition is supplied by the CDC. Given that many in our congregation fall into this definition, including myself, because the charts say I'm obese, we chose to wait a little longer to reopen, as stated, stage 3 in the governor's plan. Now let me address the nuts and bolts of reopening. Take note, the following has been designed to follow guidelines set in place again by Governor Holcomb's 5-stage plan for reopening Indiana, as well as compliance with the 3-phase reopening guidelines by the CDC at the federal level. First area that I want to discuss, general sanitary practices that we would like for all to observe. No hugging, no handshakes, keep a safe distance in seating and at the altar for prayer. Note that the offering plates will be set at the back of the worship center where people can place their offering at the close of the service. So we will not be passing plates during the service. Masks and gloves are acceptable, even encouraged, especially among the most vulnerable. Use the hand sanitizer provided in locations and be careful to wash your hands after using the facilities. Those which are uncomfortable in coming or returning to church are encouraged to stay home even if we open the church. So we encourage you to watch live stream. Vulnerable individuals may consider to remain in this state until we completely open July the 4th with no mandates in place. Now, for our first impression team members, but I want to make everyone aware of these particular items. There will be no coffee served. You can bring your own coffee with you from home, but there will be no coffee provided here at the church where we normally have it at the cafe. Doors 2, 3, and 4 will be the only doors in use. They will be propped open 20 minutes before service time, closed 10 minutes after service begins, propped open again 10 minutes before service ends. These doors will need to be staffed throughout this time by the assigned first impression team individuals. Once the service is over, doors and handles will be wiped down with disinfectant after the services. In the coffee area, tables, seats, countertops will also be wiped down with disinfectant. Bathroom counters, toilet handles, and doors will be wiped down as well with disinfectant. Now, let's deal with the service changes and operations. No Sunday school classes will convene in phase 1. Quarters that we have are too tight and the areas are too populated to be able to maintain the distancing protocol that we are attempting to follow. Therefore, the 500 hall, Pate Hall, will be closed. Small groups are encouraged to meet as they are lesser in number, either by electronic means for fellowship or creative ways in which they can distance themselves properly, such as in an outdoor gathering. However, under stage 2 of the governor's guidelines, groups of 25 or less can meet. If you and your group are comfortable, your small group may resume home meetings. Now you may be wondering, what about our new session, or what we were to have during the second session, Rooted? You will hear more on that later as we plan a luncheon and then plan the time frame to launch Rooted. So stay in touch with each other, at least for this time being, until things become more clear. Wednesday evening services will resume in the following way. Prayer meeting will be held in the overflow area of the worship center. This affords distancing protocol. We will use door 2 for entry. Dialogue classes will meet in the fellowship hall. This affords distancing protocol, and we will use door 2 again for entry. Youth meetings will resume immediately. That is, as of May the 4th. Because this age group is of low risk, and in stage 2, 25 people or less can meet. The games will be space protocol sensitive, as will seating for service. We're asking that the youth use door 6, which is in the back of the building near the dumpster, for entry. Sunday evening service will meet in the overflow area of the worship center. This allows for distancing protocols to be followed, and again we ask that you use door 2 for entry for the Sunday evening service at the church. Service changes and operations that will deal with Sunday morning now. We will hold 2 Sunday morning worship services in phase 1 of our reopening. They will be held at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. This affords proper disinfecting between services. We encourage our older parishioners, those 65 and older, to attend the early service, as there will be less exposure to younger working individuals and children. So let me repeat this. I can't force anyone to attend a certain service. We are highly suggesting to you that older parishioners, 65 and older, attend the early 9 o'clock service for your own well-being, because there will be less exposure to younger people who are in the workforce and individuals who have children and children themselves. Children's church will only meet at 11 a.m. We encourage our younger people and families, therefore, to attend the 11 a.m. service so as to protect our vulnerable members who attend the 9 a.m. service. Again, we encourage our younger people and families to attend the 11 a.m. service so as to protect our more vulnerable members who attend the 9 a.m. service. Children will be seated with their parents and dismissed to children's church worship areas at the appropriate time, which I'll mention in a moment. Now, considering children's church, nursery and toddlers will remain with parents in the worship center for the duration of the service. We will be providing a busy bag for any parent who would like one for their toddler. The toddler church room will be available for parents to sit with children if the need arises. So if Junior gets a little bit rowdy and you're uncomfortable, you may exit the worship center with your child, go to the toddler room, and there you will not only find an area where you can change your child or some things, activities for your child, such as toys and things, but you will find that the TV in that room will be streaming the service so you won't miss out. Preschool and elementary age children will be dismissed at the close of the last music set and prior to the sermon. Teachers will meet the children at the back door of the worship center and escort them to their normal rooms. Parents will pick up their children at the children's worship areas for elementary and preschool after the service has ended. There will be no seating for the services at 9 or 11 in the overflow area of the church unless absolutely necessary. We are quartering this area off so as to keep this area safe and disinfected for the evening service. Every other pew will be closed off to attain distancing. Families are asked to remain together, but to distance themselves by a reasonable space within a pew from other persons or families. At the end of the 9 a.m. service, the pews closed at 9 a.m. will become open for the 11 a.m. service. And the pews which were open at the 9 a.m. service will be closed off for the 11 a.m. service. All pew backs will be disinfected between services by our custodial crew. We encourage those in attendance of the 9 a.m. service to exit the building promptly so as to allow time for the sanitizing process prior to the 11 a.m. service. The balcony will be open during the 11 a.m. service only. Now, some sanitary steps we are taking. We have hired an extra custodian to help disinfect our facility. While we have been shut down, we have deep cleaned our facility. All of the toys and all of the surfaces in the children's department have been deep cleaned and sanitized. This cleaning will be accelerated and continued after the opening. We will have sanitizer located again throughout the facility, especially in the foyer and the children's area. Now to our opening date or reopening date. Stage 3 in the governor's plan begins May 24th. So we plan to open or reopen on Sunday, May 24th. I'm going to repeat that. We plan to reopen on Sunday, May 24th, with the first service beginning at 9 a.m. The length of time for Phase 1 reopening procedures to remain in place will be determined by the state of Indiana's guidance. However, it is our plan to reopen all services and ministries to normal procedures on July the 5th. Again, we will open unless the state of Indiana determines differently on Sunday, May 24th. We will remain in our Phase 1 reopening strategy until Stage 5 of the governor's plan, which is to be implemented on schedule for July the 4th. So July the 5th will be our first Sunday where everything goes back to normal. Please be looking for your letter and check out the reopening protocol on the website, the app, or email. Until then, keep watching on Sundays as we live stream. I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to seeing your face, or at least your mask. I want you to know that you're loved and you're missed. And I, along with the staff, have greatly appreciated your notes and cards and letters of encouragement. Let me also add that the faithfulness in supporting the ministry of our church during this time has been nothing short of amazing. Thank you, and God bless you.